What's up guys, this is ScherBR talking, welcome back to my channel. On today's video, we'll be celebrating Final Island in Hidden Dojo. That's right, these contents are going away, they are never coming back. And some people loved it, some people hated it, some people didn't have any emotion. I actually had some fun for a while, till it became a little boring because they were just repeating the same stages over and over again. And we have the return of one that was away for a lot of time. But let's celebrate this while using some very fun units that we could use in the Final Island. But what was Final Island after all? It was a permanent event where you could fight enemies and try to reach a high score. In order to get the high score, you needed to use a lower number of actions, do not take enemy damage, and try to exploit the enemy weakness. But sometimes enemies were weak to one element, but not the other one in different waves. So you have to think, well, who will go for the first wave, the second wave, use fast attacks, the worst were the best ones in this event. And, well, power creep happens and it just became easier to handle. So, right now we have Merlot, a very powerful Pierce attacker, and that's exactly who I'm gonna bring in the first. Well, I am using the Godspeed stance formation that allows you to be fast, and Merlot will attack. Chain Lightning is an attack that only counts as one action, because the multi-hits come from the skill, not from the passive. And I brought here also Gustave, because he's gonna help versus the boss with his Triple Crush. And the other characters here are just there. They are low level, and they will not interfere with this process. So, you never needed to reach the perfect score, but it was fun sometimes to reach. It was kind of a challenge. When it got released, we didn't have as many options, the AoEs were a little more pricey, now they are cheap. And as you can see, we just did 2 hits, killing that first wave of enemies. The Giant is super strong, has lots of HP, we only hit it twice, and that's not a problem because Gustave is here to finish it off. And then, in the last wave, Chain Lightning is not available anymore, but we have Assault. And with Assault, we're gonna kill one enemy with 1 hit. The other one, we won't, but then, see, we have Gustave to finish. A pretty nice strategy that actually worked sometimes with similar characters, not these ones, because Merlot is pretty recent. And yeah, see, 880,000 was the max score, and it was super fun to reach that. Now we can move to the second well. The enemies here will be weak to Pierce and Sun, and they are aligned in a column. It was nice because 2 different weakness, Pierce and Sun, and in the last wave we have a boss. And I use it the same character most of the time because it just worked. If it works, you should not be changing, right? But you could also just run their very powerful character, Green Hilt, and she will kill the first wave at least, and help with the third, and you could bring someone else for the second wave. But what was the character that I kept using and never stopped? Well, Claudia. Claudia has a very good setup. She has this skill here called Skyfall. That's super powerful, and I even inherited Twin Arrows to use it later. And after she deals enough damage on the first wave, we have Anya helping out. Why? Anya gives BP. That's how Claudia attacks 2 times in a column. And I used this so much and it will not change in the last moment. Then I have Nadart. If I needed extra damage, I could just use Sweeping Dragon on the boss fight and help. With 2 other units that are just low level, they will not interfere. We have 3 characters here and they are aligned in a column as well. But now since we have a new formation, I'm just gonna change it and use Godspeed stance. This reduces the RNG of the turn order, and Claudia will just be here to attack first and second wave, while the third one, it will be a combination of the remaining characters. So I really think that Godspeed stance made it much easier, and well, eventually you could just control the turn order without having just fast attackers. The formation will allow you to be fast. It's fun, I believe, and this stage has not returned so much. I remember like at least 3 months ago or something. They were releasing stages based on the banner units, but I don't know, maybe it just had too many slash and blunt damage dealers and that was what you saw most of the time. And that's it, see, very easy to control, and I think only 4 actions, right? With a max score again, on auto. And the last, well, will be versus enemies weak to Sun and Blunt. This one was kinda hard on release because we didn't have that many Sun attackers with cheap AoEs and all. But everything changed, right? Like I said, power creep eventually reaches. And I'm using a new character that's super fun to use. That is Creator. That's right, Creator is super fun to use here. And we didn't have a chance because he just can't release it. I increased it Purge so that he uses Creator's Flare and Glitter. And he's gonna help in all waves. And then I brought Leon, just because he was a pretty nice character to use in the past, and he's gonna help on the second wave with his Imperial Glory. But that's it. I just had other cards that increases damage passively. That we also did in the start of Final Island. I still remember the community saying, oh, you need this character that increases damage by 10% with 25% chance. We never need that, and even those characters that only increase it 5% were not needed. Could help, but we're not exactly needed. And you never needed to reach max score to get all the rewards as well. But it was just a challenge. Okay, so, well, I would not use his overdrive. That is a little overkill. Kills the enemies with just one hit in the first wave. That's how strong he is. But the enemies also just have 100,000. I believe the advent of the forged weapons with maxed passives were also bad for the content, since everyone had too much power and you didn't need to invest on characters that were strong for Final Island. Imagine summoning for a character strong for Final Island. Never made sense. Just use what you have, be smart, and it will work. And that's it. You see, Creator is just finishing the last wave. With a little bit of help from Leon, but there could be so many other characters. Now, just one solos. That kind of reminds me of one character that we used so much that could solo as well. That one was Arthur. And I didn't use him here because we didn't have a stage that was fitting for him. But you can see that I got the max score. Yeah, I did. It was not so hard anymore. A lot of newcomers even could do this, depending on the characters that they have access to. So that's Final Island. I don't know if I'll miss. I just hope that they have different types of challenges that keep being fun. But there's another content that we had since the start of the game that it's also going away. We lost another one, Robin Cup. That was a little more interesting in my opinion, although I think that they didn't rotate it so well. And Hidden Dojo is similar, but you have only 5 units and you can choose the difficulty between stage 1 and stage 5. And sometimes they had double rewards. It was just use it in order to get some Testaments of Might, and that's it, nothing else. So pretty simple, and you could exploit some stuff like instant kill. There were people using Time Lord, Death. I didn't really like to use Time Lord and Death because always you saw... because there were always enemies that were immune to instant kill. So I would prefer to just apply ailment sometimes with some attacks and stuff. So I always had a squad that was made based on multi-hits, AoEs and stuff. And I changed it recently because I was just getting bored. But I use Eagle Maul so much here. Yeah, because she has a perfect AoE cycle of Wicked Rapture and Shadow Haze, and she can recover BP to use it again. Then eventually started using Chooser, but I use it people in the past, like even Leon I use it here, but with his AoE cycle. Chooser is so much stronger with Sadistic Cannon instead of Orbital Claw, because Orbital Claw hurts him, and then he can just use Dual Claw Bait or Inspiring Hit. They are AoEs as well. And Merlot, that's a new character that was just so fun to use here as well. I used Galahad for so much time, I didn't want to drop him even when Merlot got released, and I did use a cycle of full AoEs as well. And I didn't know about the last character, so I just brought Final Impress because she does decrease damage taken, and she has an AoE cycle as well. So it was fun, but it eventually got boring for 3 years. So this squad does not rely on ailments. I use it to use Apollo, Creator for Paralyze, and they could just Paralyze sometimes. I tried other ailments as well, like Confusion from Creator, and usually those two. Those are the most important ailments, Paralyze and Confusion, and Instant Kill if you like Instant Kill. The problem with Instant Kill is that sometimes just one enemy there and survives, and then it didn't make sense to use Instant Kill. You still have to attack with all the remaining characters. It would not speed up. But back on launch, yeah, we had enemies with tons of HP, so Instant Kill was a good way to handle. People even used Albert with his Instant Kill attack. And they chose different squads for different stages. I never bother. I always use the same squad. It was never a challenge for me. But, well, it's also ending. And this was just a victory leap. I enjoyed it for a while, but it's time to let go. But I want to hear all your stories about Final Island and about Hidden Dojo. Where is it fun for you? And which characters did you use? I want to see in the comment section. Thank you so much. And this is the last time. I see you later, but on new content. Goodbye.